Ciao.
What's it doing?
The Costa Serena is one of the world's most spectacular cruise ships. Famous throughout Europe, she is part of an award-winning green fleet. She is longer than the London Bridge, her decks cover more space than 20 football fields, and she can carry almost 3,800 passengers on each cruise. The 1,000 crew members, all of whom spend most of their lives at sea, are pushing hard to maintain the grueling pace.
What am I gonna say to the guys? You won't see?
We work here, but we live here.
This cruise, Captain Russo prepares to hand over to his successor, and a ship-wide master audit has this crew tested to the max. A new route, some unexpected endings, and several new beginnings finds the Serena battling her toughest week yet.
This is the job.
This is cruise ship life as never seen before. This final cruise will test this floating city's mettle and will reveal exactly what it's like to live and work on one of the ocean's true giants. This is Cruise Ship Diaries. The Costa Serena has docked in Venice for the last time this season. Soon, she and her 3,800 cruisers will make their way out of the port and into new waters.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Very good afternoon. Today at the shops on board on deck number 5, you will find 50% discount for selected Costa Serena t-shirts, polo and jacket. Do not miss out.
The Serena has been sailing the same 7-day itinerary for 7 months, and with winter now here to stay, she'll be changing course.
We have to go to find the good weather.
Then we'll...
We are like birds. We go where there is always the good weather, you know? When you think about a passenger ship, you think about pool and tanning and going ashore. You don't think about freezing weather.
This is the final cruise for Captain Russo. At the end of this week, he will disembark and will hand over to a new captain. Captain Russo must have this vessel in perfect running order before the changeover.
Even this one, yeah.
He will be conducting a master safety audit of the ship this week, as well as a dangerous helicopter evacuation drill. A new itinerary, plus a week of intensive safety tests, will keep this crew busy until the moment he disembarks.
Everybody will open champagne and party because it's leaving finally, you know, thanks God, you know.
Thank you.
The captain's right-hand man, hotel director Attilio Cisa, is planning a week of celebrations to honor his colleague and good friend.
This is very good.
A sumptuous gala feast and a midnight buffet are some of the highlights he has lined up.
Yeah.
The director of services, Edouard, will handle the midnight buffet. But right now, some visitors from head office are keeping him busy on deck 11 in one of the largest floating spas at sea, the Samsara. The spa is particularly popular with guests during the winter. With a new season and route comes a change in the entertainment schedule. Fresh acts have boarded and are already hard at work getting used to the Giove Theatre. With acrobatics and several daring tricks a focus of the shows, they're hoping for calm seas. The officers aren't sure they can guarantee smooth sailing. As the ship journeys towards sunny shores, she must pass through waters infamous for strong winds and enormous waves.
This is the worst place in Mediterranean. Then we have to go back to work. So we have to start planning, and it can be dangerous.
Now I want to see the passage for Naples.
The officers will need to draw on all the technological innovations this ship has to offer to keep her steady. The person responsible for building the Serena will be boarding soon to meet with Captain Russo. When the captain leaves the ship, He will board the fleet's newest giant, and the engineer wants to discuss bridge design and technological improvements being made to the newest supercruiser. Beatrice Siri is no lightweight in the shipping industry. She's been in charge of designing and building all of the fleet's newest vessels. Beatrice wants to find out from Captain Russo if the innovations on board the Serena have proved their worth. And she wants to whet his appetite for life on board his new ship.
4D. 4D.
Ah, 4D.
Cinema.
So you
Yes.
mean that you wear the mask
Yeah.
and you can like...
It's three-dimensional plus all
you are in the movie,
effects.
so you can
Yes.
move with actors.
The shipbuilders who work for Beatrice have had to overcome some maritime superstition, much like bringing an umbrella onto the ship or saying the dreaded word Titanic. Having a woman on board is seen as very bad luck.
Even going to the ECR, the engine control room, or to the bridge, you see sometimes people looking at you like this. And the first time I entered the engine room, and I had this big guy standing in front of me saying, "I don't want to see women in here." And I told him, "Unfortunately, you'll have to get used to this."
Unafraid of rocking any boat, Beatrice will discuss the bridge design in detail with Christian and Captain Russo.
Adesso dov'è? Quello per fare le chiavi.
In the lobby, the onboard engineers are facing a challenge. The rough seas during a recent lightning storm cracked one of the elevator doors, and this morning, the entire glass pane has shattered. The door must be replaced, and quickly. They will need to be steady in removing and reinstalling such a large piece of glass, and must complete the fix before the ship leaves the port. Replacement is an unfortunate theme on board today. Bashir, the new lead singer in the stage show, is facing a reprimand. The cast has been unsatisfied with his performance.
I've tried the shouting, I've tried the crying, I've tried the screaming, I've tried the talking nicely, I've tried licking his ass, I've tried helping him, teaching him. It doesn't work.
I want you to be the best.
The head of the performance agency is on board to discuss his future on the Costa Serena.
Because Angela will be better at that.
The engineers have located a spare elevator door. In case something goes wrong at sea, the technicians must keep all vital spare parts with them on board. These stores hold everything from elevator doors and extra anchors to ropes, paint, and even giant technical spares. Most guests are now on board, and the Serena will leave the port soon. Bepi, head of adult entertainment, has the pool deck covered. He has been working long hours and putting in extra effort. He was recently disciplined and has decided to up his game. He's applied for a position as assistant cruise director, but knows he has several critics.
He's a Scorpio. I'm Taurus, we are the opposite. He always has to speak. I mean, he say what he thinks immediately, without thinking. People, they don't like him maybe for this reason.
Unfazed, Bepi will be playing his A game this cruise. Bashir has also been given a second chance. The cast will perform again this week, and it'll be his last opportunity to impress. The rest of the cast are enjoying some downtime in the crew bar before their hectic week begins. Dancer Heather and lead singer Renee have become firm friends and have developed a reputation as the party girls on board, but some of their antics may have landed them in hot water.
You can have 5 written warnings or something, and then you're disembarked. So I'm actually on 1 at the moment. So.
Renee is no stranger to crew drama.
The dancers and I left one of the officers' cabin, but all of us we were just having some drinks in his cabin, and some sad little person saw us leaving his cabin, the 2 of us, and the rumour the next day was that we were having a threesome. So I had an orgy last night, not even I know about that, you know. Gee whiz, I'm lucky. Only on the ship, hey?
But there are some offences that will get a staff member fired without any warnings at all.
Before 5:30? No, I know.
Right now, Paula is facing having to fire some of her colleagues.
We are leaving at 6.
Missing the ship means instant dismissal. The Serena must leave in an hour, and she cannot get hold of a group of staff members who went shopping in Venice.
It's 4:30 already. They're supposed to be here by now. You have to have them here in like...
All crew must be on board an hour before departure, and she is hoping they will make it.
Please, I really need to know. Okay?
The technicians managed to complete the replacement of the elevator door in good time. The new balancing act must leave the stage. They will perform tonight, and the theatre must be cleaned. As the Serena prepares to leave the city of Venice for the last time, Paola has no choice but to report her colleagues who have missed the ship. They will have to meet the ship at the next port to face the staff captain and possible dismissal. This week is going to be a careful balancing act for all crew, and top performances will be demanded from everyone. As the Costa Serena enters new waters and begins her fresh itinerary, the crew are working around the clock to combat the effects of recent bad weather. As the Serena sails into the territory of each nation, she must fly the flag of that country, indicating her status as a friendly vessel with no hostile intent. Although the ship must respect the navigational regulations of each nation, the Serena operates under Italian law, and any serious incidents like violence or even a death on board must be handled according to Italian procedure. Christian, the second officer, has sailed across the globe several times and is well versed in Italian maritime law.
I did almost all the world. I was in the South Pole, and then 20 days later I was in the North Pole.
Christian knows that entering new waters can sometimes lead to surprising challenges.
Another thing that I experienced more than once, maybe 5 or 6 times, was to rescue in the south coast of Cuba Cubans that were trying to escape to go to reach the American coast. Once I remember in a small boat of maybe not even 10 meters, there were like 40 people inside. And I was shocked of a lady that she was even pregnant, you know, and you can see how desperate they are, you know.
Christian is preparing a strategy to combat the possible turbulence ahead. When strong winds are forecast, he and the captain might settle on sticking close to the coastline and using the ship's stabilizers. Bashir is facing his own challenges and has one last chance to win over the cast of the stage shows. This performance could be the most important of his onboard career. When the crew needs guidance in difficult times, they usually turn to the onboard chaplain. As well as facilitating religious gatherings for guests, He is in charge of crew welfare and functions as a counsellor, social coordinator, and moral compass for the crew. He has been trying to come up with some novel ideas to boost morale, and this week he thinks he may have the answer. Many crew members never get to see the upper decks of the ship. In fact, it's not uncommon for some staff to work several 6-month contracts without ever entering a guest area. It has been decided that one of the stage shows this cruise will be for crew only. Many have never even entered the theatre, and there's already much excitement. Paula is also feeling upbeat. Her parents are on board this cruise and will be celebrating a very special event.
My mom, she's turning 70. I would like to give her just a nice evening that she never had before.
She has asked permission to have dinner with her parents in the ship's exclusive Samsara restaurant, usually reserved for Samsara guests only. The bakers in the galley have agreed to bake a birthday cake.
I don't know why. The last maneuver that I have to do is with the strong wind. I don't know.
Captain Russo will begin his safety inspection shortly. He has a new safety officer on board, Gianfranco Lafauci, and the captain must grade him before disembarking at the end of the week.
If he doesn't have a future as a safety officer, for sure that he can have a future as a model. He's nice looking, I think. And what the women say, not me. For me, he's like everybody else.
This morning, the captain, Christian, and Gianfranco are heading first to the storage areas of the ship. They must inspect the very bottom of the vessel where miscellaneous supplies are kept. Haphazard storage can be a fire risk. Bashir is determined to impress, but Renee seems to have run out of patience.
It's unfair. It's not fair on me. You know, we all come here knowing our stuff, you know, and we get drilled.
Renee and him need to find a way to work together, and sometimes you need someone just to be on your back. But I wouldn't want Renee on my back, I tell you.
Determined to be her best on stage, Renee even opted for surgery just before this contract.
Yeah, they just have a career of their own. Gerald says, look, Renee, you know, just because you've had a boob job, you know, you don't have to stick them out like that. I felt like saying I'm not going like that, they just go like that. You know, that's how I've paid all this money.
The ship is arriving in Malta for the first time. The port of Valletta forms a majestic gateway to the ancient island, which is thought to have been inhabited 7,000 years ago and became part of the Roman Empire in 218 BC. The hit movies Troy and Gladiator were both filmed in Malta. This Mediterranean country is actually part of an archipelago of 5 islands, only 3 of which are inhabited. But it's the island of Malta and the port of Valletta which is the focus for cruisers today. Captain Russo has finished the first part of his safety inspection and has asked his good friend Attilio if he can take a few hours off to share an outing he has planned in Malta with him and Kerry, his fiancée, who is also on board this cruise. Attilio is busy prepping everything for the midnight buffet tonight, but Edward and Rob say they have things under control. Today, they're off to swim with dolphins.
So Tilium, very funny. The suit was tight, so his stomach was a little bit... so he was like pushed in, but was coming out from other places, you know?
In the hospital, on Deck Zero, a crew member has injured himself and his wound needs attention. The ship's hospital is equipped to handle almost any medical emergency, and the doctor and nurse Bianca quickly get to work.
You feel pain?
Ciao Paola. Allora ho qui delle lettere per...
The chaplain and Paola have everything arranged for the crew show. All crew who are not working have been invited to the theatre to enjoy the show. There will be pizza and cool drinks in the crew mess afterwards. Beppe will keep guests away from the theatre by entertaining them in the grand bar on Deck 5.
Certo. Vous devez danser ou vous devez chanter? Vous devez danser. Okay, sir, time for the kiss. Camera ready? Here we go. Wow. Okay, that's good. Now, next one to the cameras. Another one there.
Back on board, prep for the midnight buffet is underway. Intricate vegetable carvings and ornate ice sculptures will be the main attraction. While the captain is off the ship, Gianfranco continues the safety inspection with Environmental Officer Martino. The casino, shops, art gallery and laundry are all checked for safety compliance.
Can I see the cleaning log, please?
The captain has requested that the desalination plant also be inspected. Here, about 1,500 tons of fresh water is generated daily. This potable water is used ship-wide. The swimming pools and jacuzzis are filled with seawater. Well known for breeding unwanted bacteria, each pool is drained and refilled every night.
Dancer on the bandpit, please.
It's time again for Bashir to prove himself. Attilio has given his permission for Paola to have dinner with her parents in the Samsara restaurant. As part of the captain's ship-wide safety check, he has requested that all water in all swimming pools be tested for bacteria. Nurse Bianca will test for dangerous contaminants using the onboard laboratory facilities. The maintenance teams often find balls of human hair, contact lenses, watches, jewelry, and even occasionally false teeth in the pool filters. Nurse Bianca will test for pollutants thoroughly. Beppe keeps guests occupied in the grand bar, while the theatre fills up for the show exclusively for crew. Even though it's late, not everyone is off duty, and many crew won't get to see the show.
To the end of the line.
Just make another row against the boat.
They've decided to try and hide the display until midnight, when they will make the big reveal.
Ready? Ready. 1 minute, 1 minute.
Bashir has pulled it off. The cast seem pleased.
Same one of Gabor's costumes.
It feels like a mountain you have to climb, you know that? You won't believe it. Serious.
It's time to uncover the buffet magnifico, and it seems guests are not disappointed.
Fantastic.
Once all food service is over each night, it's up to the galley staff to get rid of the leftovers. All wasted food is liquefied and released into the sea, incinerated, or stored for disembarkation. The early hours of the morning are a good time for maintenance crew to catch up on work, and for entertainment staff to enjoy some peace and quiet. But Paula has been called from her cabin to attend to a complaint about a strange banging noise.
That's the haunted cabin, and it sounds like every night at 1 o'clock there's a banging noise, which is, well, who knows where from. So we had many inspections and nobody can explain where the noise is from. One pastor just died in this cabin. That's where the legend is from.
While guests enjoy the early hours of the morning on board the Costa Serena, Captain Russo has his crew on high alert. As one of the captain's final safety checks before he leaves, he and his staff will be carrying out a dangerous heli evacuation drill. A military helicopter will hoist the patient from the top deck of the ship, and although this is a training exercise, the danger is real.
For the cleaning of the area, keep the fire team standby.
Okay. We require medical assistance. Over. Roger on that. Cruise ship Costa.
The officers on the bridge radio the Coast Guard to alert them of the emergency.
A passenger in very bad medical condition.
This evacuation would take place should a passenger need immediate hospitalization or treatment only available on land, like open heart surgery. All crew must clear the decks of any objects that could be caught by the wind and be swept into the blades of the helicopter. The helicopter will hover above the Serena and her team will conduct the hoist. Getting two mighty machines perfectly aligned in the middle of the ocean was never going to be easy, and today, the weather is not cooperating. The fire team must be ready for a crash. If just one part of this exercise goes wrong, there could be disaster. For the Coast Guard, this is a real emergency. Legalities regarding hoisting a live volunteer from the ship's crew have limited Captain Russo from conducting this important training exercise in the past. But one of our film crew has offered to be the dummy, giving Captain Russo and his officers the opportunity they've been waiting for. As the helicopter nears the ship, the medical team have the patient on standby. He will need to be ready. With windy conditions, the chopper team will have only one chance to hook him and hoist him. Aligning the helicopter accurately is crucial. They have secured the patient and can now execute the hoist. Safely on board, the chopper team will rush the patient to the nearest hospital on land. A life-saving maneuver well executed by both teams. The ship is nearing Naples, one of Italy's largest cities. It is located halfway between two volcanic areas, Mount Vesuvius and the Phlegrean Fields. Naples is one of the oldest cities of the Western world, and the historic city centre is listed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Naples is Captain Russo's hometown, but he won't have a chance to disembark today. It's almost time for him to leave, and he must complete his master safety audit of the ship. He, Christian and Gianfranco, the new safety officer, must inspect the 26 lifeboats, in particular, the latches that keep them safely secured. Although his contract is finished, Giovanni, the previous safety officer, is still on board. As Gianfranco has taken over his duties, Giovanni is enjoying well-deserved downtime and has challenged some of the officers to a football match on the top deck. Paola will be going home a week from now, but is excited to start the preparation. She has been on board for 8 months and has been working on ships for 9 years. The last few months have been tough, and she isn't sure if she'll be coming back.
I would love to see myself out of ships. It's like being in a trap, you know? It's like living, I don't know, in some kind of cage. Because when you're here on board for so many weeks and months, you totally lose connection with the rest of the world. It's impossible to keep in touch with the rest of the world. Now I feel like it's really time to stop. That's it.
Grazie, ciao. A seaman is always dreaming, you know. One day I want to have a family, I want to have children, so I hope to quit and to find a job close to where I will live. But then I go, oh my God, I can't imagine to work in the same office, looking at the same window with the same scenario. It's not for me.
Beppe has received praise for his hard work this cruise and is still holding out for his promotion. Renee and Bashir have declared a truce.
Just says it all, and let's smile. I'm going away.
So let's just give it a few weeks, just give him a chance and let him settle in. I mean, he's a great guy. He wouldn't harm anyone. He's such a sweet guy, you know.
And let's smile, gives it all away.
Heather is enjoying ship life. She still has almost 2 months of her contract to complete and is considering signing up for another.
Hey, Dad. Hello? Satellite call
Rob,
is
the
paused.
assistant director of services, has just found out that he'll be leaving the ship sooner than expected. His leave has been rescheduled, and he'll get to spend the holidays at home before starting work on a new ship.
Going home a little bit earlier than planned, and then I will re-embark in Miami, in my home state of Florida, to help out with the Caribbean season and to be able to assist, entertain, and serve all of our American passengers.
Attilio is making sure that Captain Russo's final gala night will be one to remember.
Thank you very much indeed, guys.
The photographers have been briefed about the captain's photo call tonight. They should have extra staff on standby. The gala night menu is progressing well. Christian is ready to face the high winds forecast for tonight. He has managed to navigate the Serena around most of the bad weather so far, but he may need to use the stabilizers tonight. The new act in the theatre will appreciate smooth sailing. Paula has heard that juggling real chainsaws is part of the new routine.
Pronto? Ciao Attilio, come stai?
Captain Russo is ready for his final gala night on board the Costa Serena. His personal valet, Mariano, has collected his suit from the laundry. Christian sails the supercruiser smoothly around the high winds. Sexy Night is where the action is. It's the most popular event in the disco for crew. Everyone is keen to let loose. the Costa Serena has docked in Savona, an Italian city well known for its busy port. The Serena is due to pick up a full complement of new passengers here. It's not only holidaymakers who are boarding today. Several new staff members are boarding on Deck Zero. Most of them have probably never worked on a ship before. They have little time to get oriented and must start work straight away. For Captain Russo, it's almost time to say his goodbyes.
1 hour, more or less. Okay. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Soon, the Costa Serena will be in new hands, and the captain will be a civilian once again. His fiancée, Carrie, knows it is hard for him to leave this team. They have become like family.
Always a mix of happiness and sadness at the same time when you leave. When you leave the ship, you leave always a small piece of your life here, you know.
The new captain, Paolo Benini, has arrived. The changeover of captains is a serious business. Together, they must visit the harbour office to complete the legalities. Taking over the responsibility of almost 5,000 people in a ship worth hundreds of millions of euros requires some serious paperwork. It's not something to be taken lightly. Back on board, Attilio's day has taken a turn for the worse. He has just learned that due to serious snowstorms inland, the passengers who are supposed to be disembarking right now will not be able to leave the port. Most roads have been closed.
What am I gonna say to the guys?
There is a ship full of guests with nowhere to go. The weather has deteriorated further. It doesn't seem that there will be any transport until tomorrow. They are stuck on board. How to accommodate them is a serious problem. None of them have alternate accommodation. It's time to call in the troops. Staff who are off duty are called back. Attilio needs all hands on deck. The galley staff prepare to feed the extra guests. The next round of cruisers will arrive shortly, and the Serena may have to cater for 2 lots of guests at the same time. The team is working on a solution. It's time for Captain Russo to leave the ship. He is aware of the crisis, but he's already signed over authority to Captain Benini, and there's nothing he can do to help.
Enjoy your dad when you go home. Ciao everybody, ciao, bye, ciao. Ciao. Ciao to everybody.
Dry to Melbourne. Danke.
50 passeggeri circa. Tra le 9. Responsabile del meet and greet.
Captain Benini has chosen a tough day to start his new contract. There is still nowhere for the previous cruisers to go. They cannot disembark, and the new round of guests has just arrived. They've been stuck in snowstorms and are tired, hungry, and eager to find their cabins.
So much snow with the train, a big problem.
I'm with 4 buses. 2 hours in the snowstorm.
As large as she may be, the Costa Serena cannot accommodate 2 full sets of cruisers. She'll be overflowing if the crew don't do something fast. Attilio and the head office team have decided to do something they have never done before. They will send another ship straight out of dry dock to accommodate the guests from the previous cruise who have nowhere to go. The Costa Atlantica will be a floating hotel for 1 night in Savona. The Atlantica is on its way, but in the meantime, there are 2 sets of frustrated cruisers to attend to. The crew has been advised of the plan, and their job is to keep everyone happy until the Atlantica arrives. The entertainers are on full throttle. The galley is working double time. The crew is at breaking point. The Costa Atlantica arrives just in time. The guests from the previous cruise are disembarked and ushered onto the Costa Atlantica, their home for the night. Their luggage must be transferred as quickly as possible so that the Serena can leave with her new batch of passengers. The crisis is over. The new cruisers have been welcomed on board, and the previous guests are comfortably taking refuge on the Costa Atlantica. No one but Attilio and the crew realize what a logistical nightmare this has been. The Costa Serena finally leaves the port of Savona to begin her new journey. It's been an action-packed few months on this super cruiser. The crew has hosted thousands of guests from all over the world. Bad weather and deaths at sea have all been part of the job.
I need assistance.
The Serena is a home and workplace like no other.
Get it together. Know your shit when you come to the ship.
A sailing city where drudge and drama never end.
You don't know nothing, my dear.
Devo venire io!
No. This is Cruise Ship Diaries.